Welcome. Let's we start a new class. We already discussed about symbol, right? Or what? Valency and also variable valencies, right? And also we discuss about radicals and type of radicals, that is acid radicals and basic radicals. Okay, hope we all remember. Let's start today's class. Okay, we start a quick recap. Okay, what we learned about symbol. What is symbol? A symbol is the short form of the name of a specific element that represents an atom of that element, right? That means we all have a nickname, right? We have an official name, also a nickname, because official name does not we apply everywhere, right? Because it is very larger, so we use our nickname, like nitrogen. Yes, nitrogen is a very large to spell, Nitrogen, but if we represent it by N, it is very short, and this is a symbol of nitrogen, right? Okay, let's see how can we write symbol. First point is by taking first capital letter of its English name. What is English name of hydrogen? It's hydrogen, and H is its first capital letter, so H is symbol of hydrogen. And first capital letter of nitrogen is N, so N is symbol of nitrogen, and same as for sulfur and for phosphorus too. Okay, easy, right? Very easy. Let's see the second point. What is our second point? It is taking not only the first letter in capital but also the second letter. When we take, this will be in small. Okay, please remember this. When we take the second letter, this always will be in small. Okay, so here helium, we first take H, which is in capital, then we take E, which is in small e. Here we don't take H only according to first rule, because H is also taken for hydrogen, right? H is for hydrogen, so helium, for helium we take H, and also the next one E. For cobalt, capital letter C, and then next letter is written in small. Silicon, and for neon also the same rule is applied. Also remember, okay, have to always remember this. Not only we take the second letter which is absolutely the next of this name, also we can take this second letter from anywhere of the name, like we represent arsenic as AS. This AS is here belongs, not very next, right? Also in case of chlorine we take Cl, not CH, and in case of zinc we take Zn, not Zi. So for these cases we also remember the first letter always in capital and the second will be the small. Okay, let's see a new thing. What is, if we already present same name or only same first letter actually, like nitrogen. Already it taken N, right? Then to represent anything which is started from N, we have to take its Latin name. Similarly, here sodium is started with S, but we already represent S for sulfur, so here we does not take this English name. We have to take Latin name. Latin name is used to make symbol when more than one element has same first letter of its English name, right? So we take its Latin name, that is natrium. So Na is taken for its symbol. Okay, thank you. Let's move on. Okay, what is valency now? Remember? Obviously you all remember what is valency. Valency is the combining capacity of an atom or a radical. Okay, combining capacity. It is number of electrons removed or added to the outermost shell of the atom, right? Also, this definition is worked, and this is our modern and developed definition with electrons. Okay, let's see how it is works. Okay, what is valency? Sodium, here sodium has valency 1, right? Valency is 1, so it is monovalent or univalent. When any atom having valency 1 is called monovalent or univalent. Okay, how can we predict this valency? How can we say that sodium has +1? Let's see how we check this valency. Okay, here monovalency of sodium. We all know sodium has 11 electrons, right? That means this atomic number is 11, Z equals to 11. But we also know all the elements wants to be like noble gases, right? All are wants to be fulfill its octet. So sodium very much wanted to be like neon because its last orbit contains 8 electrons. That means it is octet fulfilling. So here we see the sodium. In K we see 2 electrons, and L 8 electrons, and in M 1 electrons in the picture, right? If these electrons is removed or given, then sodium after losing this electron becomes Na plus, and this is electronic configuration 2, 8. So it is also the electronic configuration of neon, so it becomes like neon and more stable. So everyone wants to be more stable, right? So after losing this electron, it will become more stable, and this outermost losing after outermost electron, it is becomes Na plus, and so it is its valency, right? So sodium is monovalent. Okay, sodium to monovalent. Okay, then why few elements like Fe, copper, right? They are showing variable valencies. Why? Because Fe also 2 plus and 3 plus with, right? You can see as 2 plus 3 plus. Why? Because let's see why. We all know the electronic configuration of Fe is like 3d6 4s2. So its outermost electron containing 2 electrons, and after losing these 2 electrons, it is 4s2 electrons. It can also lose 1 electron from D, because after losing this 1 electron from D, it becomes much more stable. Okay, so in this case, it not only lose electron from outermost cell but also lose electron from the very next cell of the outermost cell. Okay, let's see why. Because if it gives its 1 electron from its d orbital, then it will fulfill its half-fill condition. That means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 electrons will be present in its cell. So this is much more stable than the 3d6. This is much more stable. Okay, because full-filled d shell and half-filled d shell is much more stable. Okay, so you can say basically in such cases, after losing electrons from outermost cell, electron also removes from previous cell to make that atom or radical much more stable, right? In these cases, after outermost cell, from outermost cell electron is removed, and thereafter the previous cell, from the previous cell also electrons are removed. Okay, we all take the recaps. We all captured the recaps. Let's start today's class. Today's class is chemical formula, right? Remember, today we will remake chemical formula. Chemical formula or molecular formula identifies each constituent element by its symbol and indicates the proportionate number of atoms of each element. What is meaning of this? Right? What is this definition says? We obviously understand this with some examples, right? Also, we can say chemical formula or molecular formula is a symbolic representation of molecule of an element of a compound or of a compound, right? Symbolic representation. Let's clear this. What is actually happen with this? What is chemical formula? What is this? Okay. First, in first definition, what we learn? We learn this is actually constituent element, representing constituent element in symbolic representation, right? So, what is chemical formula of calcium oxide? Here, what is calcium oxide? Right? Constituent elements of its calcium, right, which is represented as Ca, and the next one is oxygen, and which is represented as O. So these two are constituent elements, right? So these two makes the calcium oxide. How? Let's see. It is quite interesting now, right? Because what is chemical formula of calcium oxide? We have to learn it. Okay, to making this chemical formula, first we have to write basic radical or cation. Here the basic radical is calcium, Ca2+, right? This 2 plus means 2. 2 is the bivalent, or the valence is 2, and it is electropositive due to having positive charge. And acid, then we write acid radical or anion, which is here O2 minus, oxide, for oxide, right? O2 minus, that is bivalent because it is also contain 2 valency and it is electronegative, right? Now we apply crisscross. Crisscross means this is cross. Okay, its valency we write here and its valency we write here. Okay, this is 2 also and this is also 2 here. So these 2 represent the presence of calcium. Okay, here calcium is 2 atoms of calcium is present. Here this valency of calcium is 2 and these 2 represent how much oxygen is present. And here 2 oxygen is present. And also we have to remember both have 2, so we have to cancel this highest common factor 2, so we get CaO. This is the chemical formula of calcium oxide. Let's start naming of chemical compounds. Okay, with naming we also chemical formula practicing. Okay, for naming, if we take a metal with a non-metal, then what happens? If we take metal like sodium, which is alkali metal, right, and chlorine, which is halogen basically, then what happens? Firstly we have to write the basic radicals, which is sodium, that is Na plus, and then we have to write the acid radicals, which is Cl minus. Okay, then we apply crisscross. What is the valency of chlorine? This is 1. What is the valency of sodium? This is also 1. So chlorine is present 1 and sodium is presence is 1, right? Both are 1. 1 means 1 atom of sodium, 1 atom of chlorine is present. So the chemical formula is NaCl. Okay, all clear? Let's see. So this was the chemical formula, but how can we write its name? What is this chemical name? This chemical name is so easy. Okay, first we have to write the name of metal as it is. What is its name? Sodium. As it is we write it. Then for non-metal we have to, this is chlorine, right? But we have to add the ide, IDE. This suffix is added and this becomes chloride, right? And this is becomes sodium chloride. Always remember, when metal and non-metal mix a compound, we write the name of metal as it is and the name of the non-metal with adding ide suffix. Okay. Let's see what next. This is non-metal and non-metal making a compound. Here we take phosphorus and oxygen, both are non-metal. First we have to write the basic radicals. This is cation, this is P3 plus, and then we write the acid radicals. This is O2 minus, then we apply crisscross. Then what is its valency? Valency is 2. And what is its valency? This is 3. So phosphorus atom is present 2 atoms and oxygen 3 atoms. So what is the chemical formula? P2O3, right? Here is no common factor, so as it is we write. So that was the chemical formula, right? But what will be its name? What is its chemical name? This is phosphorus trioxide. But why? Because the first P, that is first non-metal, is written as it is, but the next non-metal written with ite, that is oxide, and with trioxide, because 3 oxygen is present here. Okay, this prefix and this suffix is added. Okay, right? Okay, for non-metal relationship, this is clear. Here is an interesting thing. For nitrogen and hydrogen, these two non-metals making this NH3, applying crisscross in 3 minus, 3 is written as it is, and H plus 1 is written as, its valency is written here, its valency is written here. We get 1 N and 3 H, so NH3. Okay, according to rule, we know nitrogen is written as it is and hydrogen is like hydride with adding ite suffix and with prefix tri, because 3. So nitrogen trihydride is name, but we all know NH3. What? We all know NH3 as ammonia, which is its common name or trivial name, right? NH3 as ammonia. Okay. What is trivial name or common name which is widely used? We don't use nitrogen trihydride. We always use ammonia. Remember this, okay? Check a new formula of naming. If we take 2 elements and oxygen, then what happens? 2 elements, sodium and chlorine, and oxygen, there is present 1 oxygen. Then we have to add hypo as prefix and ite as suffix with this second element. This is chlorine, so hypochlorite. Sodium is written as it is. Okay. And when we take oxygen in number 2, then this ite is used, hypo is vanished. Okay, only ite. When we take 3 oxygen, then 8 suffix is added with this next element. Ite is vanished and ite is vanished or replaced by 8. And here when we take 4 oxygen, then par prefix and 8 suffix is added with the next element, so sodium perchlorate. Okay, let's see what is the acids. Actually, what is the naming of acids, right? For binary acids, binary means 2 atoms, 2 elements, right? Here hydrogen and chlorine, 2 atoms of 2 elements, right? Hydrogen, for hydrogen hydro, and for chlorine chloric, so this is hydrochloric acid. Like HF, for H hydro, for F fluoric, hydrofluoric acid. Okay, understand? Let's say for polyatomic acids, acids with more than 2 elements, here 1 for hydrogen, 1 is nitrogen, 3 is oxygen. So for this, the middleman, right, the middle element is taken for naming. There is nitric acid, and for this middle element is sulfur, so this is sulfuric acid. Very easy, right? Very easy. Thank you very much guys for watching this video. Hope this will help you a little bit. Thank you very much for watching and listening.